Greetings, adventurers! Today we are in Huntsville, Texas, to learn a little bit about what it's like to be locked up. The Texas Prison Museum. Let's go check it out. So first we have this picture of the Texas Prison Rodeo, which I was not even aware was a thing. Then there's several items from a local golf tournament that happens every year. Then if we pan down, you actually get a chance to check out some arts and crafts that were created by different prisoners. The first one here is made out of popsicle sticks. Then there's a little guard shack, and the other items in this case were actually all made with toothpicks. So that piano is especially impressive. I don't even know where I'd begin trying to make something like that. Apparently you have a lot of time when you're in jail. This next piece is very interesting, as it was meticulously worked on by a prisoner who was actually released. And then I guess they ran afoul of the law once again. They were returned back to jail, but allowed to continue working on their piece. So maybe it was just they were very passionate about getting this work of art done. Some of the more notorious criminals that were locked up in Texas include the infamous Bonnie and Clyde. Here we see a lot of information about them, and it actually talks about Clyde being broken out of jail from here in Huntsville. Their actual prison is where he was. And of course, they did meet a rather sticky end eventually when they were tracked down and killed inside their vehicle. Here is one of the guns that was actually removed from the car where Bonnie and Clyde were ambushed and killed. So this belonged to Bonnie or Clyde. This is a model of the entire area envisioned around the prison. As you can see, it is very much dominated by what looks like a big stadium there. And that was meant to be for the Texas Prison Rodeo, which, again, is apparently a very big thing, or it used to be. It is, of course, no longer a thing, but back then, it was the height of entertainment for people in this area. And then we see, of course, the rest of the little city around it. This is actually a really well-made model. So, speaking of the Texas Prison Rodeo, this was a whole section devoted to nothing but that. I guess they gave up trying to keep it subtle, and were just like, let's throw it all out there. So here we have lots of artifacts from the many, many years that the Texas Prison Rodeo was put on. All the way back, you see these wagons in the background there. I really like this guy's outfit. Really kind of exemplifies prison cowboy, you know? A very chic look for sure. There we have some advertisements, so that everybody can get all hyped and excited to head out to the Texas Prison Rodeo. It looks like it was a pretty intense affair. Definitely drew a big crowd. Like I said, it was something that people looked forward to all year long and was a major event for them. That red hat is very dashing. This display highlighted different items used when people were attempting to escape prison. The most interesting one here, in my opinion, is by far this grappling hook that someone made. Of course, in prison there's several things you can't have. This was a collection of banned items that somehow made it in. As you notice, most of them are makeshift weapons. including a ninja star for some reason. There's a monkey paw there where people tied it up and would use it to just hit each other in the head. And lots of other things that don't look very friendly. Most of the shoes in here had secret compartments so that people could sneak stuff in. It was a hard life. Moving on from weaponry, we have some amazing creations that are completely made of soap. Everything you see in front of you was carved by prisoners out of all they had, soap. The chessboard in particular I thought was awesome, and I like that it was the guards versus the prisoners, which does seem appropriate. A lot of detail on there for soap. This case probably had my favorite artistic endeavor, which over in the corner here was a homemade version of Prison-opoly, a complete Monopoly game based on prison. I wonder how many fights that started. You've really got to give it up to this inmate. They handcrafted an entire set of dragon-themed cardboard armor full of razor blades. Youch. And just in case you forgot that the Texas Prison Rodeo was a thing, we have a massive saw blade decorated with heroes of the Texas Prison Rodeo. And last but not least, we have the crown jewel of the Texas Prison Museum, Old Sparky, the electric chair which was used between 1924 and 1964 and put to death 361 prisoners in its time before being retired for lethal injection. A fascinating museum, but a little depressing. Let's go see what else Huntsville has in store for us. Just as a follow-up to my episode with the giant presidential head statues, this is the park in Huntsville where those are slated to go. They're going to go all the way around here and stretch in order and completely surround this to make this a giant plaza here in Huntsville at the Veterans Center. That's going to look really awesome when it's done. Well, we can't wrap up our section about the Houston area without covering the man himself, Sam Houston. He's actually buried here in Huntsville, so we are on the lookout, trekking through this cemetery to find his final resting spot. And here we are at the back of Oakwood Cemetery. We have the final resting spot of General Sam Houston, the very first president of the Republic of Texas. Here we have the back of the massive monument. It says, "Soldier under Jackson, boy hero of horse, shoe bend, congressman from Tennessee, governor of Tennessee, chief of the Cherokees, commander-in-chief of Texan Army, hero of San Jacinto, twice president of the Republic of Texas, U.S. Senator from Texas, governor of Texas." General Sam Houston, born near Lexington, Virginia, March 2nd, 1793, died in Huntsville, Texas, July 26th, 1863. A brave soldier, a fearless statesman, a great orator, a pure patriot, a faithful friend, a loyal citizen, a devoted husband and father, a consistent Christian, an honest man. What more words could you want said? Another little known awesome thing to see here in Huntsville, we have possibly two of the most Texas buildings in the world. This house here is literally a giant boot. I know it's popular in fairy tales to live in a shoe, but this one takes the cake. And then located right next door, this house has a giant cowboy hat on. They definitely make quite the pair, both of these together. As you can see, it is right next to the road, so very visible, and honestly, very cool. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, it would mean the world to us if you would click that little thumbs up there and give us a like. Go ahead and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next adventure. We'll see you next Wednesday.